On today's Rono's podcast, we are going to break down the early slate, the 1 o'clock games in the NFL Week 9. The Bengals-Bears was a shootout to the very end. Bengals defense doesn't come out with a victory in this one. The Panthers come out and get a victory against the Packers. All that and more in the Week 9 slate. We'll talk about the early games first, then the late games, and then the Sunday Night Football game. And then we'll have predictions for Monday Night Football as well. And then we'll talk ahead of the Covington Catholic Football Playoffs Round 1. They're taking on Boyd County this week. And we'll see what happens in that game. And college basketball starts up this week. We are one day till opening night. So we'll talk about some college basketball, get a couple predictions in, and then we'll end the show. Thank you guys for 250 plus subscribers. I appreciate it. I just really hope that we can reach the pinnacle of 300 by Christmas, which I bet that probably won't happen. But thank you guys so much for 250 plus subscribers on YouTube. I appreciate it. On with the show. Welcome everyone to Rono's podcast. Today is Monday, November 3rd. And the Cincinnati Bengals somehow find a way to lose another game again. But the Week 9 slate was a really good slate overall. I mean, you had close games coming down to the wire again. We'll talk about all the games in the early slate and then get to the later games in the late slate and then the Sunday Night Football matchup in another window as well. But first, I want to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chicago Bears. The Cincinnati Bengals 42, Bears 47. Joe Flacco looked okay. He was 31-47. Definitely a couple hiccups. And what thought was a pick six actually saved the Bengals. You drive down the field for the Bears, doesn't work. It's 41-30, 35. Or 41-27. Go down, you gotta try and score another touchdown. The Bears go 3 and out, I think. Or it's a turnover on downs, yeah. And the Bengals take advantage. They go down and score to make it a closer game, making it 35-41. Go for 2, make it 37-41. Well, actually, the 2-point conversion makes it 35-41. And then you go down the field, and then you go for the onside kick. The onside kick was touched by the Chicago Bears 9 yards by a foot. And the Bengals recovered, so they got the ball. And then Joe Flacco leads them to a score to lead by 1, 42-41, with about 50 seconds left. And then you have 17 seconds to go down and win the game again, but 50 seconds for Caleb Williams is enough for them to score. Monangai got 176 yards. That killed the Bengals' rushing defense this week. But T. Higgins was the star of the game for the Bengals. He had 7 catches for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Flacco had 4 passing touchdowns. He was 31-47 for 470. And I just feel like the Bengals could do so much better than this. I mean, definitely, you crap the bed 2 weeks in a row, and now you're heading into the bye week. 2 losses in a row with the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens are coming back off of a win against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's going to be a tough race heading into the playoffs. I mean, the AFC North has already gone away from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers and the Ravens are pretty much in it. The Browns and the Bengals are out of it, if I would have to say. But just another disappointing performance by the Cincinnati Bengals. The offense looks really well. Even though you had some miscues, I mean, the screen passes need to stop, but it's just every single time I see a screen pass, I'm like, yep, there's a Zach Taylor offense that we run. And it was just so amazing to go see the Bengals just take a lead in this game, and then somehow they lose the lead, which is insane. So just an insane fourth quarter of play. I mean, Joe Flacco's intercepted twice, I think, in this game. Yeah, 2 interceptions in this game. One by Edmonds, but who we thought was it was a pick six. We all thought it was a pick six, but he was down by contact by Chase Brown, which was smart football by Chase Brown. So that saved the Bengals and actually kind of led the Bengals to go score that touchdown and take the 1-point lead. But as I say, Bengals still lost, and now you're in panic mode. Joe Flacco looked okay, but it's just you need to have more offensive line. You need to get a better offensive line. You need a better defense. I mean, it's just now or never for the Bengals. Insane game. Just insane overall. And it's kind of crazy. So, it was a crazy game overall anyway. The Bengals still found a way to lose somehow. And 47-42 final score. Bears win. I mean, there's just no words. No words for me to say about this game. And we'll talk about some other early slate games. All right, we had another down to the wire game again, but this time it was in Lambeau Field for the Panthers and Packers. The Packers lose this game by 3 points. Panthers take away the win 16-13 on a wild game. Rico Dowdle, 25 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you picked him up in fantasy, you had a game. Fantasy football, but Rico Dowdle, I mean, it was insane. You have 13, it's 13-6. Rico Dowdle scores a touchdown and does the 2-pump celebration, which I think is insane. The No Fun League strikes again, but I know you can't do it, but just still. Let players have a little bit of fun, man. I mean, it's insane, though. But yeah, Jordan Love, 26-37, 273 yards, and 1 interception. I mean, the Panthers defense looked incredible today. And on the offense, Bryce Young looked amazing. So the Packers are 5-2. So the Packers are 5-2. After a loss to the Panthers, I mean, that's just demoralizing. You ruined the birthday of Jordan Love, who was 27 years old. And that's insane work by the Packers. I mean, Packers had a chance to go score once again, and they missed their opportunity. Interception in the end zone, and then 1 second left. Panthers kicked the field goal, and it was right through. Just an insane game overall. It was also windy in Green Bay as well. So when Rico Dowdle scored the touchdown and got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, their kicker missed the extra point. So it was like a 13-6 game. The Packers went down and scored to make it 13-13. It all went downhill from there for the Packers. Jordan Love throws an interception, and the Panthers strike back to win it 16-13. And I do want to do another slate of window games, another game-winning field goal. Broncos 18, Texans 15. The Broncos, yet again, come up in the fourth quarter and win another game. They were down, 10-7? No, they were down 15-7 heading into the fourth quarter. And then they scored 11 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win the game. Bo Nix, 18 of 37 for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns, while J.K. Dobbins on the ground only had 61 yards on 15 carries. I just feel like the Broncos need to do something better on the offense and defensive side. But the Texans, they do lose C.J. Stroud. Davis Mills came into the game. C.J. Stroud was in concussion protocol, was out for the rest of the game. Davis Mills looked kind of good, but they only scored 15 points. Nico Collins touchdown, which was an insane play by Mr. Davis Mills. But the Broncos go down the field, score a touchdown, and then they win the game on a turnover. A turnover on downs for the Texans. The Broncos go down and win the game by a score of 18-15 in that one. And then another one-win game, a game by 1 point. Patriots and Falcons. Patriots win 24-23. The reason why the Falcons only scored 23, so Drake London had an insane touchdown catch, and then their kicker missed the extra point to tie the ball game. And that's what happened. And that game was an insane one. So the Patriots won 24-23. Drake May, 19-29, only incompleting 10 of his passes for 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Drake London, 3 touchdown catches today on 9 catches for 118 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, holy crap, what a slate of games in the early slate. We'll have a couple more games to talk about too before we head on to the late slate in the NFL, but what an early slate so far. Hopefully there's more games like that in the early slate like we just had. We'll talk about the Vikings, Lions. We'll talk about the Niners and Giants. And then I think we'll talk about the Steelers and Colts game after that. And the Chargers-Titans game too. We'll talk about that too. So all that's coming up here in about a minute or so. But overall, I mean, you had games go into field goal range. Panthers win on a field goal. Broncos win on a field goal. The Patriots win on a missed field goal from the Falcons. Just insane slate of games that we have going on. And then the Bears win on a touchdown by Caleb Williams finding his tight end. I mean, Colston Loveland scored that final touchdown. This is insane. On to some more games in the early slate. All right, another game that was close and won by 3. The Vikings, Lions. Vikings 27, Lions 24. The Vikings come out and take a win. J.J. McCarthy, 2 touchdowns, which was an insane game. 2 touchdowns and ran for 1 after a return from his ankle injury. And the Vikings look for real. The Lions, though, thought they had it, but they didn't. 27-24 Vikings win. Jared Goff, 25 of 37 for 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Laporta, 6 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. While Aaron Jones for the Vikings had 9 carries for 78 yards, 0 touchdowns. But Jameson Williams is an insane running back. He scores on a 37-yard receiving touchdown. Didn't even touch out of bounds when people thought he actually went out of bounds on that play. And that got the Lions in it. And they would have kicked a field goal. They were down 3. And then they just went on to lose 27-24. The Lions are in desperation mode now. I mean, Jameson Williams coughed up a ball, and it was just an insane going for the Lions. Dan Campbell loses another game. That's the 3rd game lost from the Lions. 5-3 on the season now, while the Vikings are 4-4. But hey, at least the Packers lost. Oh wait, I was like, are the Bears the only team to win in the NFC? No. In the NFC North? No, the Vikings won as well. But the Bears and Vikings are the only teams to win in the NFC North this week. The Detroit Lions fall, the Green Bay Packers fall. So, just an overall nice game overall by the Vikings. And then we'll see what happens with Justin Jefferson. We'll hear about his status hopefully soon. But what a victory by the Vikings. An insane game. And then another one in Nashville. The Titans looked insane. Had it tied 17-17. The Chargers looked really, really bad in the first half. Titans go on to lose, though, 27-20 to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, 19-29 for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he also had 9 carries. He also kept the ball 9 times for 57 yards and a rushing touchdown. And their tight end, Gadsden, had 5 catches for 68 yards and 0 touchdowns. What a game overall by the Chargers. But the Titans, I wouldn't have thought would have kept pace with the Chargers. The Chargers are now 6-3 on the season, but the Titans are 1-8. The Titans looked really well. But Cam Ward had some of those cough up football plays that you have as a rookie. I mean, he's a rookie. He's gonna develop. You're gonna have time for Cam Ward to develop. Sorry, I'm thinking about the Broncos quarterback. But yeah, Cam Ward's gonna develop, and it's just a rough year so far for the Titans. You pick up, the Chargers pick up Odafe Owe from the Ravens, who actually had a sack in this game. And it was kind of crazy to think about. But Odafe Owe was a difference maker for 1 sack only. But yeah, the Chargers win 27-20. And then we got another 27-20 victory. The Steelers upset the Colts 27-20. The Steelers. Aaron Rodgers looked good. The Steelers looked good. The defense looked good. Daniel Jones, interception. And then, so basically, here's what happens. For Daniel Jones, so you've got to score. You're in desperation mode. Daniel Jones gets the ball back after a fumble from Roman Wilson for the Steelers. And then he just throws another interception to the Steelers. And that is a gift for the Steelers and a gift for the Colts that was taken away. But Steelers defense forced 6 turnovers as Daniel Jones went 31 of 50 for 342 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor was quiet in this game. He had 14 carries for 45 yards. The Steelers defense kept him in check. Well, Michael Pittman Jr. had 9 catches on 115 yards. No touchdowns, though. But the Steelers looked really good in this game. Their offense and their defense. Overall, they just looked really good in that game. The Steelers win 27-20. The Colts, the one-loss Colts, taken down against the Steelers. The Colts now, that was their first game not on turf. Their first game not on turf. Crazy game to think about. Just, the Colts actually had a chance to win this game, but they just had many missed opportunities to go score down the field. Many missed opportunities. The Niners take down the Giants 34-24 in a 10-point victory for the Niners. Mac McCorkle Jones, 19-24 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey had 28 carries for 106 yards and 1 touchdown, and 5 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown, which he was their leading receiver and their leading rusher. Crazy to think about, but the Giants, I think they're done without Cam Skattebo. Cam Skattebo was their difference maker on the field, and so was Jackson Dart, but Jackson Dart just looked not good in this game. I mean, yes, he did have a rushing touchdown in this game, but I think the Giants, they're done. They look good with Jackson Dart, but they need to show something out of me. They need to show something to me that they're a really good team. They're 2-7. The Niners are 6-3 with all of these injuries for the Niners. I mean, Mac Jones had a bloody nose early into the game, which was kind of insane. But yeah, it's desperation time for the Giants. If they want to be a really good team, then they gotta show that they're a really good team. All right, on to the late slate. No, hold on. We're going to talk about the World Series. I forgot about last night. So we're talking about the World Series. And then we'll go on to the late slate in the NFL. All right, Game 7 of the World Series is in the books. And guess who's repeat champion again? The Dodgers repeat as champions. They win 5-4 in another extra inning game. You thought 18 innings wasn't enough? Well, here's 11 innings. This game ended probably around 12:15 or 12:30 last night. The Dodgers, Yamamoto, named MVP of the World Series, but here's how it started. So the Blue Jays go down and score 3. Bo Bichette hits a 3-run home run to give them the lead 3-0. Then Teoscar Hernandez sacrifice fly 3-1. Edmund sacrifice fly 3-2. Then Jimenez 4-2 doubled. Clement scored. Clement had a nice game. I mean, he went 3 for 5 in that game. Then Muncy homered to make it 4-3 to make it a one-run game. And then Miguel Rojas, game-saving play at the plate. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa running home. Will Smith almost missed the tag at home. I mean, the Blue Jays were this close to winning the World Series for the first time in 32 years, but they have to wait another year. The Blue Jays will be back. The Blue Jays will definitely be back in this World Series. Definitely. I just feel like Vladdy played really well. Well, he didn't in Game 7. He came up in the bottom of the 11th inning. And then Alejandro Kirk grounds into a double play. Betts to Freeman for the double play. But Smith homered in the top of the 11th inning. And that's the difference that it had. You thought 18 innings wasn't enough for the Dodgers to win. I mean, this was all in favor of the Blue Jays. You start off with Ohtani. Ohtani had the yips. Runners on first and third. Bo Bichette up. And then you just give up a home run. Make it 3-0. And then Jimenez makes it 4-2. And then Rojas opens the game wide open. It's tied 4-4. You thought 18 innings wasn't enough. Well, here's 11. 18 innings was an insane one. I didn't even stay up to watch that. But I felt like this could go for another 18 innings. Or 20. Because it was anybody's game at that point in the 10th and the 11th. But except for Will Smith opening up this game, winning it 5-4. But Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitching in game 6 last night. Or not last night. On Friday night, comes in and pitches 2 2/3 innings, gives up 1 hit, no earned runs, a strikeout, and a walk. Holy cow. Yamamoto, MVP. He pitches 2 innings, 2 2/3 innings, after pitching 96 pitches on Friday night, which was insane. You used all your starters, Ohtani, Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto. You used all your starters. The Dodgers used all their starters in the game. And they won with Yamamoto being the MVP because he pitched in 2 days. Coming off of no rest, comes in and pitches. Insane. Shane Bieber does get the loss though. Jeff Hoffman, if he didn't throw so many balls out of the zone, I feel like they could have won that World Series. But Jeff Hoffman gives up a home run to Miguel Rojas, and I feel like they could have walked it off in the bottom of the 9th inning, which would have been cool, and for the Blue Jays to win the World Series. But I feel bad for the Blue Jays. I feel bad for Vlad and all those guys in the Blue Jays clubhouse. But the Dodgers are repeat champions. The last time a repeat champion happened, it was the Yankees. But the last time an NL team won back-to-back, the last time it was the Cincinnati Reds in 55 and 56 with the Big Red Machine. I think that was the last time they won back-to-back, 55 and 56. It might have been 95 and 96. No, it wasn't. I don't know the years, but the last time an NL champion was back-to-back, it was my Cincinnati Reds. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but yeah, surely as a Reds fan, you don't want that to happen. But the Dodgers win 5-4, and they're your repeat champions again. But hey, the Reds could sign Kyle Schwarber. You never know. All right, before we get to the late slate of games with the Chiefs, Bills, Rams, and Saints, and then the Jags and Raiders, I want to talk about 2 topics. College basketball, I'll do after I do this. Covington Catholic football is looking really good after they're coming off of a bye week, 7-3 into the round 1 of KHSAA playoff against Boyd County, round 1. This is Covington Catholic's home playoff game. It might be their only one. It might be their one home playoff game, and then hopefully they win this week, which they should, against Boyd County, they'll go down to probably Johnson Central and take on Johnson Central down there, which I feel like the Colonels are a really good team offensively and defensively. They got it going against Mason County a week ago. 2 weeks ago. We're now in week 1 of the playoffs. But definitely the Mason County game and definitely the Harrison County game, let the defense shine in this for the Covington Catholic Colonels. Their defense and their offense led by Cash Horney. Cash Horney maybe has 200 rushing yards on the ground. He does have a receiving touchdown on the season. That was against Dixie Heights earlier in the season. But yeah, I just feel like that this Colonel's offense is going to look really well heading into the playoffs. Starting off with Cash Horney and Dylan Geyser. The running back position looking really well. If you clean up those little bit of plays that you had and clean up that offense a little bit, you'll have a stellar run in the playoffs. I think they could make a run to the state championship game, in my opinion. But it's going to be very hard because 4A is such a deep class, especially with Highlands in Class 4A now, and in our district too, in District, I think District 5, I don't know which district we are, but I know we're Region 9, but it needs to happen if you want to win state. You need to beat these playoff teams, and Highlands is on the other side of the bracket for KHSAA, which hopefully I could pull up. But real quick about the soccer team, soccer Colonels. I went down yesterday. Saturday, which was a fun experience. That's a fun stadium to go down there. But you just lose 2-0 to a Saint X of Louisville team that looks really good, and I just feel like that game should have been towards the Colonels. They looked really well, but it's like, what the heck is happening with the ref calls? I mean, yeah, the calls are calls, but I feel like it could have been more. It could have been more clean. I mean, there was a lot of fighting in that one, but just insane. The refs only make calls when Cath fouls Saint X. I feel like they just gave the edge to Saint X in that one. But it's crazy to think about for both squads in that one. All right, so we do have the KHSA 4A. So, we could possibly meet Highlands. So Highlands is going to go up against Greenup County on Friday. And then Ashland Blazers going to play Mason County, it should be a matchup between Highlands and Ashland. Then it should be a matchup between Johnson Central and Covington Catholic. This is going to be tough. And then if Cath wins that game, I think they'll have a matchup with Highlands in the third round. Oh yeah, it's looking like it. Highlands is not on the other side of the bracket. Paducah Tillman is, though. You also have Boyle County. You could meet them in the fourth round if they make it. If Cath makes it, which I think they should. But it's going to be rough. Highlands, they could meet Highlands third round of the playoffs, which is going to be very insane if they do. It's going to be a fun game and a fun night, but it's going to be at Highlands too. So, yeah, we would have to play Highlands, or they would have to play Highlands round 3 of the playoffs. And Highlands is definitely going to make a deep run too. But yeah, I feel great about this Cath offense and this Cath defense too. Cash Harney will lead the way definitely for the Colonels in another run to the state championship. All right, on to college basketball. All right, college basketball talk time, and Xavier and Kentucky looks good, especially after their exhibition loss to Georgetown, which was not great, but thankfully it does not count. But it's looking good for Kentucky. I feel like they could make a deep run if they make it to March Madness. I feel like they could definitely make a deep run in the SEC with that tough matchups coming up in the SEC too. Kentucky plays Tuesday night. Plays tomorrow night actually. Xavier plays tonight, which is going to be very fun to watch. But Xavier, I don't think they look good this year. Bringing in Richard Pitino was, kind of a good move, but I just feel like it's not a great move overall. But we'll see what happens tonight with all of this talk around, is Richard Pitino good? Is Xavier really good this year? But Kentucky, I feel like, has a really balanced schedule this year. Play 2 non-conference games against easy opponents, and then guess who you have in the third week of the season, and it's Louisville. So basically next week we'll be playing Louisville, and hopefully we don't have to be sitting here talking about a loss for Kentucky on Wednesday. That's 2 weeks away. It's probably a week away. We'll be sitting here on Wednesday in a week talking about Kentucky's either win or loss, whoever knows. But it's going to be an insane one to talk about if Kentucky loses, but it's also going to be an insane game if Kentucky wins. I want Kentucky to win, honestly. but Louisville looks really good. I just feel like Kentucky will outplay Louisville in that one. But still, I just feel like that it's going to be a tough game for the Cats overall. And hopefully a spark happens for Kentucky this year, because I feel like they have a really good team. They made it to the Sweet 16 last year against I think a really good I think it was Tennessee. Yeah, a really good Tennessee team. We beat them in the regular season twice. Kentucky beat them in the regular season twice. Yeah, and then they lost, so they made it 2-1, but it was in March Madness this time. But still, Kentucky looks really well, and I feel like they should win a good amount of their games and win a good amount of their SEC games too, whenever they get into their conference games. The SEC is a powerhouse once again, but yeah, we'll talk more about college basketball when it comes around, which is tonight and Tuesday. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday's podcast. But Tuesday I'll have NFL Power Rankings out, my first NFL Power Rankings video out on the podcast when this podcast comes out. I'll be recording that one as well. I'm recording this podcast right now, but I'll have my power rankings come out as I'm recording the podcast as well. So look for that video coming out maybe Monday or Tuesday of this week. So look for that. All right, now to the late slate, and then we'll talk Sunday Night Football. All right, on to the late slate of games. First, starting off with the Bills and Chiefs. My mistake. The Bills win 28-21. Patrick Mahomes is given 22 seconds on the clock, and they go down to the 40-yard line and don't get a touchdown out of it. The game-changing play was Maxwell Harrison getting his first interception on his young career. Maxwell Harrison, of course, the safety or corner out of Kentucky, the rookie. But Josh Allen had a team record for the Bills, going 23 of 26 for 273 yards and a touchdown. While on the ground, James Cook, 27 carries for 114 yards, no touchdowns. But Dalton Kincaid, 6 catches for 101 yards and 1 touchdown, as the Bills rout the Chiefs 28-21. That was a close one. 4th down, a doinked field goal. You give Patrick Mahomes time. I mean, if you give Patrick Mahomes time, it's going to be crazy. The Chiefs they're a team that I think could actually make it to the Super Bowl again, or they could probably win the division again. But, it's on or off of the Chiefs. I mean, that's their 4th loss of the season. You lose to a good team in the Bills, but then you lose to the Jags. You start 0-2. I mean, it's not looking good for the Kansas City Chiefs right now. But going forward on 4th and 17 was a smart move for Andy Reid. You have Rashee Rice open down in the field, which was absolutely insane. But, I mean, Andy Reid called it a good game, but wasted all 3 timeouts before the 2-minute warning, and so did Buffalo. So there were no timeouts left with like a minute to go in the game, but Buffalo pulled out in this one. Josh Allen had a rushing touchdown in this one. The Chiefs, though, this was maybe another game that was decided by 7 points. Once again, another close game, especially in the early slate too, with however many teams won by 7 points. 20-27 for the Chargers, and a 20-27 win for the Steelers as well. All right, next game, the Rams and the Saints. I mean, this one was over by halftime. The Rams beat the Saints 34-10. The Saints are 1-8. Tyler Shuck's first NFL career game. But Matthew Stafford was 24 of 32 with 281 yards and 4 touchdowns on the day, while Puka Nacua had 7 catches for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. Kyren Williams on the ground had 25 carries for 114 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, there's nothing to talk about in this game except for that the Rams improved to 6-2. I mean, the Rams are pretty much a really good team. They're a powerhouse right now. They look like their the 2021 Super Bowl run selves from when they beat the Bengals. And then this one went to OT and won by 1 point. I think that the Raiders missed an extra point. They got a touchdown, but they missed an extra point. And that means that the Jaguars are 5-3. They win 30-29 in overtime. This game was like interesting for the first 3 quarters. It was 9-6 before heading into the fourth quarter, and that's when the scoring got started. Cam Little with a 68-yard field goal to break the NFL record. Evan McPherson almost had it when they played Green Bay, but Matt LaFleur iced Mr. Evan McPherson, and he missed it. So Cam Little with a 68-yard field goal. What a catch. Or what a kick. That was awesome. But either way, Geno Smith, 29 out of 39 passes for 284 yards and 4 touchdowns. Travis Etienne with 22 carries, 84 yards, no touchdown. But Brock Bowers, 12 catches on 127 yards and 3 touchdowns. Raiders, I think they should have won that game, but they just missed out on an extra point to maybe be tied maybe to end in a tie. So the Jaguars win 30-29 in that one. There's also nothing to talk about this one. Just an overall sloppy game by both teams. But the better team came out and won this one. All right, on to Sunday Night Football. But real quick, my first Power Rankings episode will come out on Tuesday. I'm going to record it Monday. I'm going to record it today and put it out on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So look out for that on the YouTube channel. But if you're listening to the audio podcast on Spotify, definitely go get a listen to that as well. Check out the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube as well. We're trying to surpass 300 subscribers by Christmas. We're at 254, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to the YouTube. And the first episode of the Power Rankings will come out tomorrow. I will be editing it as I record it. But yeah, on the Sunday Night Football. All right, Sunday Night Football recap. The Seahawks beat the Commanders 38-14 in a rout from the Seahawks. Sam Darnold with a very high completion percentage. Completed 21 of his passes out of 24 for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns to a pick. Jaden Daniels, we'll find out what's happening with him as he got hurt in this game with a left arm injury, so we'll see what happens with him. Chris Rodriguez, the running back out of Kentucky for the Commanders, on 12 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown, while Jackson Smith-Njigba has 8 catches for 129 yards. No touchdowns in this game. Seattle does cover the 2.5 and the over in the points. 48.5 points is the over. I mean, just overall, a dominant game from the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks are a very good football team. But that determines on where they are in the power rankings when they come out tomorrow, or when they come out Tuesday. but the Seahawks battled. Drew Lock had to come into the game at that one point in the fourth quarter, and Washington fans were insanely frustrated with how their team played. And honestly, I feel like the Commanders need some bigger pieces, like an O-line, but Jaden Daniels in his sophomore season, I mean, it's not going well. I mean, you need to have those key pieces back from the 2024 season. And hopefully Jaden Daniels is healthy enough for you guys to make the playoffs next year. But yeah, Jaden Daniels is acting like a Joe Burrow, but he didn't make the playoffs his rookie year. Joe Burrow made the playoffs his second year. But Jaden Daniels is finding a way. He has been injured several times with a hamstring, a concussion, and now an arm injury that probably could sideline him for the rest of the season, which would kind of suck for Commanders fans. But yeah, and it's going to be very hard for Commanders fans because their team is not really doing great this year. Yes, Jaden Daniels has gotten hurt. Marcus Mariota has come in to help put them into winning ways, but they can't win football games if you don't have that talent overall. The quarterback position, you do have the quarterback and the running back position as superstars too. But I feel like we need to have more wide receivers. Deebo Samuel is starting to become that player that is becoming an unknown to us. But yeah, it's just I feel like the Commanders need to play better football in order for them to win games. But they haven't been playing their best football for this past year. And Jaden Daniels' season is in the air with the left arm injury. Could sideline him the rest of the season, or it could potentially sideline him for maybe a month or two. We never know. But I'll have that news and power rankings on Tuesday whenever I come out with them. And then Wednesday's podcast will happen. And then Thursday I'll pick the games, starting with the Thursday game, heading on into the Sunday slate. The Bengals don't play this coming week in week 10. So now we're just waiting to see what happens with Jaden Daniels. As the Bengals lost 47-42 today. I mean, it was a crazy week 9 slate. This might have been the best week of football in the NFL this season. Ever since going back to maybe, I don't know what week, but this week 9 slate has been the best slate ever in football. All right, now let's end the show. All right, so we're going to do things a little different this week. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to do a random number generator again, but if I pick that number and it lands on it, I have to do a punishment. So I will get the punishment ready here in a minute, but I'm going to go with, let's do 27. So I'm going to do 27. So I'm safe as it is 88. Good show, boys.